And Bindi Irwin's revealed she's been battling endometriosis for the past 10 years. In a lengthy Instagram post, she says she's struggled with insurmountable fatigue, pain and nausea. And Bindi says she pretty much gave up as the pain tore her life apart. But now, after she finally had surgery, she says she felt a responsibility to share her story for other women who need help. And Bridget Hustwaite is a radio presenter, author and advocate for endometriosis, and she joins us now. It's nice to see you, Bridget. Hey, hearing Bindi's description of what she's been through, did that kind of line up with what you've experienced?
Yeah, very relatable. So for me, it took 12 years to get my diagnosis for endometriosis.
Oh,
yeah, and sadly, that's really common. The average in Australia is 6.5 years to obtain a diagnosis, which is through surgery. So it sounds like Bindi's, spent the last 10 years enduring this and finally had the surgery. They've gone in and found the disease pretty widespread. So it's amazing that she's got answers. It's just a very bittersweet experience obtaining that diagnosis because, you finally have validation that the pain that you're experiencing is real, but then you kind of need to think about how you go on and navigate life with a chronic condition that has no known cause or cure.
So Bindi said doctors didn't take her seriously. They said it was just something you deal with as a woman, like period pain, it's normal. How did that line up with your experience?
Yeah, I flat out had a female GP told me in 2017, so a year before I had my surgery, that I don't have endometriosis and others have it worse than me.
Really?
So
Wow.
yeah, and that was pretty shocking coming from a female GP. I was actually recommended to see her for this issue. But yeah, sadly, it's just a really common issue. Endo is invisible. So on the external, you might look like, and Bindi is such a happy-go-lucky person, as am I. So, when we go through our day-to-day jobs, you probably can't tell, the chaos and what we're dealing with inside. And yeah, there's just sadly so much misinformation still out there about endo. And it is Endometriosis Awareness Month, so we're getting more coverage. And it is amazing when we hear more public figures, come out and say that they've been going out, been dealing with it. But sadly, still a lot of misinformation about the condition.
Well, speaking of public figures, Bindi's brother Robert came out on social media and said it's not just women who should be talking about this. Men need to come out and offer support. How important do you think that is to the conversation?
I think it's really important, Sam. I think the thing for me, I personally don't like how it's coined as a women's health issue. So endometriosis is when tissue similar to the lining of the uterus grows outside of the uterus. It's actually been found in every major organ of the body. So it's actually, factually, a whole body disease. But we tend to link it and attach it to our uterus, even though it grows outside of the uterus, and coin it as a reproductive issue. And, up to 50% of people with endo can experience fertility issues. But I've had friends who have had endo found in their diaphragm. It's widespread. So we need to be treating it as a general health issue where everyone has understanding. There's been rare cases it's been found in men, very rare but valid. And I just think, everyone needs to be across it because, 1 in 9 Australians have it. It's just as common as asthma and diabetes, and it affects so many aspects of your life.
It needs more funding.
Totally.
Well, clearly what Bindi is encouraging people to do is keep searching for answers. If you just think you're not getting the answer, then keep searching. What would you say to anyone who's going through that process now about where to start with that? It's
really hard to know where to start. I think thankfully now there's so many people talking about it and we're at the point where it is being rolled out in our health curriculum. When I was going through high school, endo wasn't even in my vocabulary. I didn't even know it existed. I wasn't taught about it in high school. But thankfully there's programs like the Pep Talk program that goes out and teaches high school students. So getting the awareness at an early age is really pivotal in reducing that diagnosis delay, I suppose. But yeah, I think, our organisations are doing a good job at putting the info out there and whatnot. I mean, I've got not to self-plug, but I will. I've got a great book out called How to Endo.
Get it out there.
Yeah, and, I think I needed that book when I was 15, dealing with pain for the first time. So, I think the conversation is moving in a promising, direction, but there's still so much that needs to be done.
Well, thanks for coming on and talking to us about it. Bridget, thanks for your time.
Thank you.